My name is Jed McKeehan, and today we're going to talk about how much notice you have to give a tenant before you evict them. So in Tennessee, there is a provision in the Tennessee Code called the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Act, and it's Chapter 66, Section 28, and there's lots of sections on it. And it only applies to counties that have a certain population. However, almost all counties follow it anyway. So what does it say about how much time a tenant gets before you can evict them? Say you are a tenant, say you're a landlord, say you're a property manager. It's important to know. So if you are on an oral lease with someone, or the lease has expired and you're on a month-to-month basis, you have to give them 30 days notice before you evict them. Now it's shorter if it's a week-to-week lease or something like that, but that is almost never the case. It's almost always a month-to-month lease or a year lease. However, what if something goes wrong? Normally the lease term is 1 year, and then something goes wrong. Someone doesn't pay rent, or they have broken something, there's something that has gone wrong, they have pets, and you want them out. Well, according to the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Act, you can give them a 14-day notice. And what does that mean? That means if you give them 14-day notice, that they have 14 days to correct the issue by paying rent, removing a pet, whatever the case may be. If they correct the condition within 14 days, they get to stay. If they don't, you will begin eviction proceedings after 14 days have elapsed. Now, if they fix it and the same condition happens within 6 months, you only have to give them 7 days notice before you evict them. However, what if the issue is just rent? You can actually put in a lease, a landlord can put in their lease that if the violation, the breach of the lease is just for non-payment of rent, that the notice provision is waived. So if there's a lease and it says, if you get behind on the rent, you get evicted immediately. That means after the 5-day grace period, so if rent's due on the 1st, you have until the 5th to pay it. If on the 6th, you haven't paid it and that provision is in the lease, the landlord can evict you immediately, no questions asked. And those are basically the main timelines for getting evicted. Now, the only other one of note is if there are threats of violence, safety issues, you can give a tenant 3-day notice and then evict them after a 3 days time period. You can find out more about this legal issue and other legal issues by going to my website, attorney-knoxville.com. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter. You can also view my other YouTube videos.